Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn about AWS Code Pipeline. Now, let us first understand what is AWS Code Pipeline and why you should learn AWS Code Pipeline and use it in our application deployment. Not only deployment, it's a complete CI/CD flow. Let's go with the definition first. So, what is AWS Code Pipeline? AWS Code Pipeline is a fully managed continuous delivery service. Mark the point. Continuous delivery service that helps you automate your release pipeline for fast and reliable application infrastructure updates. So think about like your code updates that you push on changes and that automatically deploy to staging server or production server. Okay. Now code pipeline automate the build, test, deploy phases of your application of your release process every time there is a code change based on the change release model you define. Of course, as far as you configure, it will act like that way. This enables you to rapidly and reliably deliver features and updates. You can easily integrate AWS Code Pipeline with third-party services such as GitHub, such as your own custom plugin, and with AWS Code Pipeline, you can pay for what you use. There is no upfront fees or long-term commitments. Okay, we'll be covering all that. Don't worry. Let's first go with the. I think instead of going benefits, it's better to go with the features. So workflow modeling. Yes, you are you are using Code Pipeline. You are orchestrating the workflow, how it works. Okay, you can do the parallel execution also. We'll be covering all that in the demo phase. AWS integration. AWS Code Pipeline can pull source from the AWS CodeCommit, GitHub, Amazon ECR, Amazon S3. It can run the build and test using AWS CodeBuild. AWS Code Pipeline can deploy your changes using AWS CodeDeploy, AWS Elastic, Beanstalk, Amazon ECS, and Amazon ECS Fargate or AWS Fargate in general. You can model AWS platform actions that let you provision, update, delete AWS resources as part of your release process. This also enables continuous delivery. So you get the point that it works well with the AWS services. Now, pre-built plugins. Let me show you this. So what is pre-built? AWS Code Pipeline allow you to integrate with third-party tools like GitHub, Jenkins. Also, any stage you release process on click. I mean, I will show you how it happens. Anyway, you can use third-party tools, source control, build, test, and deployment. So what are the current existing integration already available? If you click on the product integrations, you will see for source code, GitHub, code for build, code that CloudBees, Jenkins, TeamCity for test, BlazeMeter, Ghost Inspector, Landscape for deploy. Additional, these are like external tools are available for you. Okay, again, let's get back to the features. AWS integration you are in, pre-built plugins, custom plugins, you can develop your custom plugins, declarative templates. Of course, it's much easy to manage, and it's all very, it's in a JSON, so you can model according to as you want. Access control. Now, that AWS Code Pipeline is working with other services, but only as much access you give to the pipeline project. That only. So it's IAM role-based authentication. I mean, access you can say for sure. And receive notification. You can create notification for events for impacting pipeline for any stage changes. If you want to put any kind of notification, you can do that easily using SNS, of course. So we'll learn about the features of AWS Code Pipeline. Now let's learn about the cost of it, because cost is very important. As a cloud engineer or DevOps engineer, you must learn about what is the cost of running the service. So for AWS Code Pipeline, you only have to pay $1 for each pipeline. And also remember, you have in your free tier that's available for every month. One pipeline is completely free. So you can try out things, you can do demo or any kind of, for your own experimentation, you can do hands-on. So one pipeline is free. Additional pipeline, you have to pay $1 per month. Okay, see this part. AWS Code Pipeline costs $1 per active per month. Okay, now, and also this part, to encourage experimentation, pipelines are free for first 30 days of after creation. So all the pipelines are free for first 30 days. Okay. Now I have shown you the features, the pricing, the definition, and all. Now let me show you a complete pipeline working example, and then from the beginning we'll cover how to create your own code pipeline. Okay, let's do that. If you log in AWS console, you will see this screen. Now from there you have to go to code pipeline, click on that, and I have already created one project to show that how efficient is working. So these are the stages. First the source, then the build, and then the deploy. Okay, let's do that. And I have code here. Let me share the. So you can see in the code that I have a code deploy project. There I have a version 1 in the code for the main like root path. Let's make a simple change and let's see what happens. I have to save it. Then okay, now we have made one change, right? We made it version 2. Now let's push the code change to the repo. Git do it. Git add the file, the change, git commit m version 2 changes. Let's do that. Now, as soon as I push the code, you will see it will trigger the code pipeline. So code is, let's just wait first. Okay, now code is pushed. We can see as this do a refresh. Yeah, you don't even have to refresh. You can see here in this code source part where I actually have link with the project, that was CodeCommit projects, the source getting processed, and then after that you will see the build will get processed, and you'll see all the steps here. See, version 2 changes. The last change I push from the last commit I did, and that's coming here in progress. You can check the details also, like what phase it is in, or what any kind of errors, any kind of logs you can see here. So it's in install phase, then it will come to pre-build phase, and then the build phase. It will take some time, so wait for it. Yeah, it's all completed. You can see all the logs here. You can see all the logs here, right? Okay, now let's go back to the pipeline projects and see what is happening. So now the source done, the build done, now the deploy phase is in progress. Click on the details and you will see the code deploys screen here. So it's a rolling update, so one by one happening. If you are not sure what is code deploy, what is code commit, what is code build, I will highly suggest you to check my previous tutorial where I've covered in depth all three, and I will definitely suggest you to go through all that. Okay, and let's wait for a few minutes. After this become all like after the allow traffic event, we will able to see the change. Let's wait for that. If you click on the view events, you will see all the events what is going through. The block traffic and the allow traffic are the most time-taking phases. All other are very quick. Let's go back to the deployments. While the deployment is going on, let's understand the code a bit. So here you might see that this is the simple Node.js application. This one. Here, the important files are two files. One is the app.spec.yml, another is the build.spec.yml. Now, why this is required? The build.spec.yml file required for the code build integration. And here, the most important part is this. If you miss this part, your code pipeline might, the pipeline flow might fail, because this is the part it's passing to the code build phase as an artifact. So make sure that you put this part, otherwise you might see failures. And here are the phases. Install phase. If you have any kind of installation that is required, kind of binaries or any dependencies, you should do that here. Pre-build phase. like making sure that you need to prepare the environment properly, or maybe may prepare the file permission levels and all that kind of stuff you can do there. um, and build phase where you will run the actual build. Okay, now this is a simple Node.js application, no build needed, but still you can pass on that. You can run the test cases also. Any kind of test cases you might, if you want to run, you can run here. And then in the post build phase, you can like push, you can send a notification, or kind of store the file in S3 as a backup plan, or any kind of stuff you want to do. And in the artifact part, where you are storing the artifact in the AWS. Okay, AWS S3. Sorry, you are storing the file in AWS S3. In app.spec.yml, now app.spec.yml is required for the code deploy, where first the source code, you copy the source code in a particular directory where you want to run the application. Then application stop phase is there, where you want to stop the application. Before install phase, or before install hook, to be more accurate, before install hook, you are installing maybe some dependencies, some binaries, some whatever you want to run before actually starting the installation. In after install, you want to run some test cases or something like that. And in after install, you might want to um, in after install, you might want you might want to do the cleanup job, or any kind of support files need creation. You can do that parts. In the application start, you can start the actual applications. Okay, in validate service, this is the final step, where final hook, where you can actually check the application running properly or not. Okay, so this keep in the mind. You need two files, for one file, this build spec.yml for the code build, and app spec.yml for the code deploy. Remember that part. So our application deployment is done. Let's try to reload the load balancer to see the changes affecting or not. Okay, yeah. So now it's showing code deploy version 2. So it's working. Let me show you how the code pipeline works with the help of a diagram. Okay. So let's say this is your this is the code CI/CD complete CI/CD flow, and this is code pipeline, and what are the service we can relate with that. Okay, let's go through that. So normally you have your code, that is your source code. Then that code need a build, like installing modules, or maybe if you any kind of binaries you need to run that. Then you do the test, and then do the deploy. Now you are managing everything, like you're orchestrating all these things with the help of the AWS code pipeline. Okay, how? For the source part, you are using AWS CodeCommit, or GitHub, or any third party repo. For the build part, you are utilizing AWS CodeBuild, Jenkins CI, or any third party CI server. For the test part, also using the same, utilizing same AWS CodeBuild, Jenkins, or a third party. Now you have staging, and you have production. Now these are the environments. With the help of the code deploy, you can deploy the changes to staging and or production. But in between here is good to have a manual intervention. Okay, because you need to do changes, the tester need to test the codes and all that. So it's better to actually get a manual approval, and then only push the changes to production. Okay, now for that you have the AWS code deploy. Now I have shown you how easily I can deploy, like simple code change I did, and that get deployed to the EC2 instance, right? Now let me show you how to do it from scratch. That's how you will learn, and you can do it yourself as well. Okay, let's do it. So this is sample projects. So let's remove the project. You can go here and type We delete the pipeline, now deleted. Now let's create a new pipeline. Just click on the create pipeline. First pipeline name, say Node.js project deployment, project pipeline. Okay. For this, you can create a new service role or you can utilize existing service role. Let's go with the new service role. Okay. Pipeline. You can see the name automatically generated, or you can modify as you want. It's up to you. If you click on advanced settings, you will see two options. One is the artifact store, that where is the output that artifact will be stored. So one stage you generate the artifacts getting generated and getting passed to the next stage, right? That is the pipeline view. And this artifact getting stored in S3. That's why it's asking like if you want to default store default location. So for each pipeline, there will be new bucket will get created and getting stored here. Or you can if you already have one bucket, you can utilize those. So I already have one bucket. It's Sandeep CI/CD demo. Again, if you want to create it, you can just simply go to S3 and create a bucket in any region as you like to, and then paste the bucket name here. For encryption key, let's go with the AWS managed key. Click on next. Source provider. Now see the option very carefully. You have AWS CodeCommit. You have Amazon Amazon ECR. You have Amazon S3. You have Bitbucket. You have GitHub version 1, GitHub version 2, and GitHub Enterprise Server. So you can select between these options. So we have our project hosted in AWS CodeCommit. So let's go there. Repository name, it's CodeDeploy demo. Branch name, it's master. Now here I'm selecting what is my project's branch and the repository name. For your project, it will be different. So input the different names. Here, change detection option. That is two-way. One is the Amazon CloudWatch event, which is recommended and actually real time. So as soon as change happening, a CloudWatch event getting triggered, and that is triggering the deployment. That is triggering the code pipeline itself. And if you click on AWS CodePipeline, it will, as you can see, use AWS CodePipeline to check periodically. So it will periodically check for the changes, and then if it directly changes, it will do the deployment. This one is the best option because it's more real time. Output format. So AWS code, the two options you have here, CodePipeline default and full clone. Now they choose the output for artifact format. Here AWS CodePipeline uses the default zip format for artifact in the pipeline, does not include Git metadata about the repository. So it doing the clone, it's not calling the .git folder more precisely. But if you do the full clone, it will do completely with all the Git and references, everything. It will copy that part. So we don't need the Git reference. So we'll go with the CodePipeline default. Click on next. Here's a build provider. Now for that, you need to have a build project. If you don't have a build project, you should go and create one. You can skip the stage, but it should be a build stage where you want to build or run test cases. You should do that. So here we will select AWS. See here you have the option to add Jenkins also. See the part. So provider name, server URL, project name. But we already have one project with CodeBuild. If you are not sure what is AWS CodeBuild, how to set up the AWS, how to set up a project in AWS CodeBuild, I strongly suggest check in my video library. There is a video full tutorial available for AWS CodeBuild. I highly suggest that part. Okay, so if you select the AWS CodeBuild and you have to select the region, which is default region selected, then project name. You can create project here if you don't have any project, or you can just go with the project name if you have any. So we have demo project. We'll go with that. Let's see. I think this is not demo project. It's CodeDeploy demo. Okay. So secure build demo. And what is it? I mean, you want to trigger a single build or trigger multiple builds as a single execution. So just go with the single build option because we are only building the simple single build. Click on next. Here, deployment provider. See the options you have available here. You have AWS App Config, you have AWS CloudFormation, you have AWS CloudFormation StackSet, CodeDeploy, Elastic Beanstalk, OopsWorks Stacks, AWS Service Catalog, Alexa Skills Kit, ECS Bluegreen, and Amazon S3. Like you can store the final output to S3 as well. But for our case, we have AWS CodeDeploy. And application name we have, if you followed my last tutorial, it's Node App Server Deployment. And the deployment group will be Node App Server Deployment Group. Click on next and you have your pipeline ready. Try to create it. And it's getting created. Give it some time. Yeah. So we have successfully created our pipeline project. We will see now the source phase. It will pull the source from the AWS code commit. Then in the build phase, it will run the build. If you have any kind of test cases, it will run those test cases also. And then in the deploy phase, it will deploy the code to the EC2 servers. Now here I targeted using AWS code deploy. To the EC2 instance, you can target to Lambda, you can target to ECS. It's up to you ultimately. Okay. Now let's wait for the deployment to happen. While doing that, why not let me show you some edit. So if you go to edit, see you can add more stages here, like add stage. Let's see, you can give stage name and do that, right? So we have source, we have build. Why not before deploying, we want to add one step, one stage calling manual. After you select the manual approval, then only the deployment will happen. So click add the stage, manual approval. I'm calling the stage in manual approval. Okay. So manual approval. In this, you have added a section and or stage. Now you should add an action, like what this stage will do. You need to add an action for that. So click on action, action name, manual approval action. And provider, see there's an option called manual approval. SNS topic, you need to for the approval request to go, you need to give a SNS topic. You can select, we can create one SNS topic and do that. Let's right now there's no topic created. Let's say no topic. We can create one topic and attach it here later also. If suppose you are deploying to a staging server first, then in that case we should attach the staging server load balancer URL or domain URL, and then comments if you have any kind of particular comments, the variable namespaces, and then click on the done. You have your manual approval ready. Now let's see the existing pipeline first. There's a existing that build is going on. Let's save it. Save the changes cannot be undone. If pipeline is running when you have changes, execution will not complete. Okay, let's save it. And go to pipeline. You can see here in progress. See, you have source, you have build. Now you can see the new stage added. It's called manual approval, and then the deployment. So before it's moving to the next phase, the manual approval is required. So if we do this change, in progress, then it will come to build phase, and it will come to the manual approval. Let's wait for that. Now you are seeing that the build the source stage done, the build stage done. Now is the manual approval, and it's a pending. So until unless you review and approve it, it will not go to the deployment phase. Okay. So suppose you have your application staging server, the code is deployed. There after that the manual approval is there. As soon as you click on review and approve the change, you will see as soon as approved is done, and then it's moving to the deployment phase in progress, and the changes will get deployed. Okay, again it was like version 2 changes. I did see, I mean you might not see any change because it's the same thing. Why not? Let's see, let's make a change immediately, like stop execution. We don't want to stop and abandon. Okay, so let's go to pipeline. It's marked as failed because it stopped it. Now let's make an actual code change. So in the index.js file, let's call it version 3. Okay, here then so we make the changes, like we call it version 3, then we'll push it to git. We call it version 3 changes. Push it to master. As soon as push it to master, you will see the code pipeline will start automatically. See, as soon as you push the changes here, the AWS code commit started. The AWS code will started the code for like putting the source and make an artifact from the source, and that source will be then pushed to the build phase. You can see it pushed to the build phase, and you can see the tag also, version 3 changes. Not tag, it's the commit. So version 3 changes commit, and soon it will come to the manual approval. We'll see that here. Now it's in the manual approval. See, it will not go to deploy phase until unless we go to review and approve it. So after, as soon as you click on the manual approval, you'll see the deploy will run. You can see the source here, the version 3 changes, and you'll see deployment will run here. The block traffic, and now all the events will go. And as soon as it's done, you will see the new version of the code change will get deployed automatically. Let's go to the AWS CodePipeline. Okay. It will take a time. So after a while, you will see there. While the deployment is happening, why not check what are the all other stages option available for us? Let's go. Click on edit, and then go to any stage, like say after the manual approval, say add stage. Let's see test stage, demo stage, just for our reference. The add stage, and there click on add action. So what are the action? Say sample action. So what are the providers? You have manual approval, you show. You can add for the build phase, you can add CodeBuild, Jenkins. For the deployment, you can add app config, CloudFormation, CloudFormation Stack, Elastic Beanstalk, Works, ECS, Alexa. Just like while the first at the beginning I've shown. Invoke, how you want to like any invocation you want to do a lambda function or step functions. Source, AWS CodeCommit, ECR, test, AWS CodeBuild, device farm, Jenkins, Blaze Meter, Ghost Inspector, Micro Focus, Run Scope, API monitoring. So you can add all these kind of stages here. Let's delete it because we don't need it anyway. Okay. So it will take some time. So it seems now the deployment is done. Now let's check the new version is updated or not. Just from let's go to the EC2. From there, we can get the load balancer URL. Like this is the load balancer URL of that particular deployment group, and paste it. Yes, it's updated. So that's it. It is to do the deployment. From the source, then the build, and then the manual approval and the deployment. You can see the flow how it worked. If you like the session, please do subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon, because I'll be releasing more in-depth session, more AWS related session. Mostly focus now. I have to cover the monitoring part, the bonus sessions where implementation in ECS with some Blue-green deployment and all that. And also next week I'll be hosting a shell script session. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification as soon as I start the session. Okay, thank you for being here, and feel free to let me know what you think about the session and in the comment section, and what next video you would like to have, and I'll make sure to have that to happen. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.